Welcome back to Small Caps, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kerry Stevenson. Today, I've asked Justin Rosenberg. He's the CEO of, you guessed it, it's in the background, Blockmate. Now, they're on the TSX-V. I love this. Their TSX-V code is MATE. And Justin's an Aussie. Gotta love that. They're also on the OTCQB. He'll explain that for us, as MATE F. Bunch of Aussies with a TSX-V called Mate. What's not to love about that? Now, we're going to be talking about things that I kind of work out and I kind of understand, but we all know that Web 2 or Web 2.0 is where we all exist at the moment. That's why I can talk to Justin over Zoom as he sits up there in Toronto. But we're also going into Web 3, which is starting to blow my mind. So sit up and take some notice, because what these guys are doing is next level. Justin, great to see you. I hope I get to understand exactly what's going on, because as I just said, this stuff is next level, but it's where we're going. We're going from what you said when we were talking before, from DeFi, which is decentralized finance, to DePIN, which is what blew my mind. So before we get into that, can you just give a brief overview of who are Blockmate?
Yes, sure. Blockmate Ventures is this group of expat Aussies, Dominic Carrozza, well known in Australian microcap land, and myself coming into what was Midpoint and changing the name to Blockmate Ventures to leverage off the Midpoint platform and move into Web3.
Okay, this is where you're going to have to pull it back and go, I say to you, what is Web3? Help our audience understand what is Web3.
Sure. So as you mentioned before, we went from Web 1, which were you putting up your page, me putting up my page, and us being able to connect our pages with our respective communities. Then economies of scale turned out, and these giant organizations built huge portals that turned what was decentralized information into centralized portals and connectivity, such as Facebook. And that was Web 2, and that still is very powerful.
And that's where they took all of our information and went, we know everything about you, including what you want to see and what you want to watch and what ads we're going to show you. So what you're saying is that they sucked up it all into one company and allowed access.
That's correct. And there is a very strong movement of people who would like to bring ownership back. So we went from decentralized information, Web 1, to centralized ownership and decentralized access. So all those platforms were free, like for Facebook. And now there's a movement where people want to own their own data, and they want to have a share in the rewards that they create. And that is one aspect of Web3.
That's a really good, thank you for explaining that. Now, what's DePIN?
So when we turn the centralized structure of Web3, of Web 2, whether it's an internet portal or whether it's a telecommunications firm or whether it's a bank, these are all large centralized organizations. And Web 3 asks of us, what could another way be? What could a decentralized approach be? So a decentralized finance offers an alternative to banking, so that instead of having a bank that links the deposits to the mortgages, it is all done electronically. And so that can happen in each of these sectors. And the sector that you just referred to, DePIN, is decentralized physical infrastructure networks, whereby instead of having a telecommunications, which is just one aspect, so it could be connectivity, it could be storage, it could be shared VPNs, and instead of having a telecommunications organization that's controlling all of this and changing prices and needing to deal with customer support and the like. Instead, it just becomes decentralized. Someone comes up with this brilliant idea, puts out a white paper, that all that white paper does, it tells all of the stakeholders, if you play your part in this new telco, decentralized telco, these will be your rewards. And that then incentivize people. For example, in the Helium network was the fastest growing wireless rollout, where they went from 0 to 1 million nodes of Helium hotspots the size of your router. And that offered up connectivity very, very quickly. That particular project has stalled, in my opinion, but that doesn't undermine what the potential for Web3 is.
That leads me very nicely into an announcement that you guys have made. It's hot off the press, which is where you partnered with Sonified Group. Now, you need to help me fully understand this. I'm of an age where I go, what the heck? So you're partnering with Sonified Group on a solar token, which ultimately will allow people to get electricity or solar for virtually nothing. Can you just unpack this for me, please, Justin?
Yes, sure. So because Blockmate is listed, because we have the likes of Dominic Carrozza in our stable, we have an enormous amount of deal flow, and we are attractive to startup Web3 projects that would like us to partner with them. And so Sonified has chosen Blockmate to partner with them. And what Sonified have, they have over 30 patents on a sensor that enables each solar panel of a solar farm or even a residential solar installation to track that information. And so the first step of this Trojan horse is that would increase the yield by 6%. Because of that, we then have agreed to partner with Sonified to then launch a token. It might take us 12 months to do this, to launch this token whereby we're able to offer an end-to-end solution to solar farm developers, whereby they can develop their farm in a Web3 context should they choose it. If they want to use our sensors in a Web2 context, that's fine. But or in a fiat context, that's fine. But we are building an end-to-end Web3 solution whereby they can access decentralized finance to fund their farm. They can work with us to offer, well, we will offer them solar as a service with that finance, with our sensors. And we will also, because we're offering them a unique technology that gives them access to their data that they otherwise wouldn't have. The only data they would have is at the meter telling them how much production and energy their farm is producing. But if we can give them data at the panel level, we can digitize that data and monetize that data. For example, if there's a glut in the solar prices, we can then send messages to the community to draw down that solar for possibly even get paid to charge your Tesla and relieve the network. So it's very early stages. This is the initial announcement where we've agreed to partner with them, and we're now going to work intensively to design the model, and we will keep the market appraised.
Okay, you just said something really got my attention, which was you may even pay for people. With solar, does it sometimes have a glut where we're wasting energy? I'm just curious as to whether that's sometimes the case. I guess we can't store it, so it does get wasted. And what you're saying is we can potentially just alert people through the use of this token that this is happening. So ultimately, it's a win for the developer, for you guys, and for the end consumer.
That's right.
That's pretty exciting. So this is all coming into Web3 now. Okay, so that's going to take a little while, but it's a really interesting development. But Justin, You've also launched something which I find fascinating, and the background to this is really cool, ladies and gentlemen. This is called Hivello. Now, I'm going to ask Justin to explain a bit more, but if you go to Hivello I think it's .io, I always get it wrong. It's HIVELLO .io, and you can get onto the waiting list for what Justin's just about to explain. So, Justin, over to you. Hivello, talk to us.
So our team specializes in this DPIN area, and as a result, we see a whole host of new tokens that are providing very lucrative incentives to miners to roll out the networks. And as a result, we have come up with a model whereby we envisage that within 12 months, our customers, our users who download this free app will be able to earn about $20 per month. And the setup is they just need a spare laptop. I have a 2010 MacBook that I wasn't using, and I didn't really know what to do with it. And now it's plugged in, it's mining a VPN sharing protocol called Mysterium. And that's the vision. Users around the world will be able to get use out of wasted hardware. If they want to use, if they don't have wasted hardware, we have lots of initiatives such as using $40 Raspberry Pis that are little mini computers that are available all around the world. And so you'd get your payback on that Raspberry Pi within 2 months at that $20.
Hang on, what's a Raspberry Pi? Apart from something that I quite frankly would never eat because it's fruit, but
Raspberry Pi has just become the largest selling computer in the world. What? And so it is a not-for-profit organization where scientists wanted to create, their students were coming up knowing software and they weren't tinkering with hardware like these professors used to when they had their first PCs. And so they created this not-for-profit that is a circuit board, a mini motherboard, a low-cost motherboard that you could buy before this glut and supply chain constraints for $30. And kids play with it and create robots out of it. And even industries are now using it if they need a very cheap computer. And that is exactly what we need at Hivello. If someone wants to, in Nigeria, buy a Raspberry Pi, connect it to the internet, and start offering VPN sharing or internet connectivity, then these are the applications that Hivello is building.
But what exactly, okay, I'm not that smart with all this stuff. What exactly is Hivello?
Hivello is the software that connects all of these protocols. All of these protocols have their white papers and their instructions and their websites that say, this is what we want you to do to mine our protocol. But the people without experience, they won't know which ones to mine, which ones have a good return on investment, how to do it. And so we have just automated that whole process so that all they have to do is download our app, start mining.
Okay, I get that. But isn't one of the things I do remember, especially with Bitcoin, was the costs, the energy costs around doing the mining. So you mentioned $20 a month, but what if it costs them $30 a month on the energy costs?
That's exactly right. And so we're at the stage where we've built the app for the first protocol, and we are going to be building applications taking into account the energy cost, we're also taking into account the hardware that the client's going to need. They might need to buy, if we do a protocol with storage, then the client might need not just an old laptop, but maybe an external drive for the storage. But we will be explaining in our communications, right, this is what you can do with just a Raspberry Pi. This is what you can do with a laptop. This is what you can do with a laptop with an external drive. And we're going to have all of that available to our users to get the best return they can.
Okay, so that's, I guess, the best way to, it's a passive income generating app, easy to use. And the most important thing, I think one of your focuses, you said, was, you know, those in those countries where, you know, passive income is a need, it's a requirement. These are very poor countries, and your passion is to get those people potentially out of the poverty that they're in, which I think is fabulous, but they don't need any technical skills. That's the key to Hivello, isn't it?
That absolutely is the key to Hivello, with so many more byproducts, such as they're getting that income, instead of play to earn games where there's no value created for the community, they are rolling out telco infrastructure, modern telco infrastructure, such as internet connectivity or file storage and the like. So they can be a miner as well as a user of the infrastructure that they're building. So there's a virtuous and circular loop in this modern economy.
I tell you what, Justin, it's blowing my mind, this whole sort of Web 3.0. We are, how quickly do you think we're going to go from the 2 to the 3? I'm keeping it very simple here, but that's the space that you are playing in. How big is this market, and how quickly will we sort of move from that, as you said, that concentrated to a decentralized new world?
So as I mentioned, Helium grew to 1 million nodes, and their LongFi infrastructure built quite a significant network, but they didn't succeed in getting the usage of that network because there aren't yet the people on the street educating people how to use this network. So people would just typically use Telstra because that's what they know. So it's years. It's the first phase is the mining, which is the laying down of what I call the railway tracks. Okay. And then the next step is building the trains and then getting the users on the train. So it takes some time to get the usage of this infrastructure happening.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a really blatant question. Blockmate, listed on the TSX-V under the best name ever, Mate. Why should people be looking at what you guys are doing at the moment from a, I guess, getting involved point of view? Why should they be sitting up and taking notice of Blockmate right now?
So right now, Blockmate's around 5 cents, which is around a $5 million market cap.
Okay.
And yet we have a very exciting pipeline of projects, which if any one of them was to take off, this 5 cent is a very cheap option price.
Okay. I've got a couple more questions if that's okay. It sounds like this is it's starting to become quite busy, but it's got crazy high potential if everyone starts moving in this way. What is it that you guys look for in potential partners and projects? We've talked about Sonified. Are you looking at other projects to partner or co-invest with, or are you going to look at me and say, I can't talk about that, Kerry?
We absolutely now have a lot on our plate that we want to focus on. But if any project that is along the lines of what I described before, which is doing good, rolling out highly valuable infrastructure like internet connectivity or file storage, that would like to leverage off the Blockmate platform of access to capital and expertise and awareness and our connections with founders in Amsterdam, and myself, and me in Toronto, others in Vancouver, we're ready to support highly interesting projects
as we move into this crazy new world. Now, I do say this to round things up, Justin, and I'm putting you on the spot here because I didn't warn you about this one, but I like to wrap up our interviews in a nice Tiffany box, if you like, by saying, give me 3 reasons, only 3, why people should be sitting up and taking notice of TSX-V Mate right now. So 3 reasons you think that right now is a great time to look at Mate.
Well, Hivello, the first reason, we call it the world's simplest and highest yielding passive income generator. That's our internal mantra and the reason to get involved now is, why will people not download this app? There's literally no reason not to earn extra income so easily.
And it's free.
Correct. So that's Hivello. Then Sonified is digitizing solar energy, a rapidly growing market that is solving a problem that now has global attention with climate change. That's the second reason. And the third reason is the X factor of the team behind Blockmate and what the future holds in Web3 and decentralized physical infrastructure networks, DePIN.
What a great way. What a great summary. Now, as Justin said just a moment ago, go to Hivello, HIVELLO.io. You can't download the app yet because it's going to be launched at Bitcoin Miami on the 18th of May, but you can go on the wait list so that when it's launched, they'll let you know, and then you can download it. And as Justin just said, it's really easy for people like me with no tech skills to be able to use it. So, Justin, I look forward to hearing how you go and all the developments as we head down the path of 2023. But for now, thanks for joining me on Small Caps.
Thanks, Gary.